Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Straight Outta Boston here, and today I'm back for episode number 20 of my Pro Team series here on Tour de France 2015 on the PlayStation 4. So today we're continuing on with the, 2018 or 2019? I honestly have lost track of the years here. But we are still continuing on with the Tour de France, so we are on with stage number 6 here, a flat stage that turns out to be a little bit eventful as we've got some serious crosswinds affecting the group here. As you can see, a big split in the peloton, so my first priority was to get Filippo Pozzato back in the peloton. Remember, he is placed second overall in the GC. Then I moved on to try to get Christophe Riblon back up to the peloton here, or at least to the front group with the rest of the contenders, because Riblon is our long-term goal here. You know, he is the guy we're going to try and get in the top 20 in the GC at the end of the race. But Pozzato is my main priority because I do want to take any opportunity I can to try and get that yellow jersey, especially as the team time trial, excuse me, that's a tongue twister. The team time trial approaches in a couple of stages. But now here, with about 1,500 meters to go, Riblon now trying to move up to the final group. As you can see, Fonseca, if you look in the top left-hand corner of the screen, he's got about 40 seconds on the peloton, so it looks like he's going to go on and win the stage. And then Riblon pushes hard, ends up blowing up at the end. But either way, he would end up not losing any time on the main contenders, as you will see when I show off the results here in a second. He comes across in 81st place, despite what appeared to be a bit of a gap there. He would end up getting the plus 33 from Fonseca, just like everybody else did, except for Peter Conrad there at the end. But either way, so no one loses time. The GC remains the same for the most part. Fonseca, of course, gained 33 seconds on whoever was near him. But we've got another flat stage here. This one, again, being blown up by some really strong crosswinds now. And again, trying to get Riblon back up to the peloton here. Pozzato was already in the peloton, I believe, and you can see the gap hadn't quite opened up to be a big one yet, so this was not too hard to catch back up. But Riblon, you know, having to dig deep in these strong winds, it's going to zap some of his energy, so we'll see if that affects him. You know, part of the Tour de France, part of the challenge of it is it's an endurance race. You got to conserve your energy over 3 weeks, and you know, if you burn yourself too much in the first couple of weeks, much like Tony Galopin did this year, you know, we saw him in the top 10 through the first 2 weeks of the Tour, and then he completely fell out. I don't even know where he placed, but he wasn't in the top 20 anymore, so you know, it's an endurance race, and stages like these can have an effect on the long term. But we've got Impey now, under 1 kilometer to go. I'm just trying to get in the sprint here, kind of try to get involved. Not really too successfully, but either way, Impey's going to come across. I think he's going to get a top 20. I think he ends up finishing 20th here, just behind Gianni Meersman. We get 19th and 20th. We actually had a bunch of HFT riders right in that little group there. But anyway, Elminger would win the day over some of the big-name sprinters. You can see we actually had 19, 20, 21st, and 22nd. So interesting stuff there, but Gianni Meersman was our highest place finisher. He gets us 9,500 more euros. Now we've got stage number 8. This is going to be a little bit more of an interesting stage. We've got the Mur de Bretagne here at the end, the short little category. What is it, a category 3 climb in the last couple of kilometers. So we've got 3 kilometers to go now. I'm trying to get Filippo Pozzato up to the front. It actually said Pozzato had the best chance to win the stage out of anyone on our team, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to try and eat some time into Fabian Cancellara's lead in the overall, but I unfortunately completely misjudged my time of attack there and went way too early and completely blew that. So now I'm just trying to ride up front with Pozzato. I didn't even concern myself with Riblon. I just decided, you know what, whatever time he loses today, it's not going to be enough that it should affect too much as we move into the, you know, final 2/3 of the race or so. But either way, Pozzato now just trying to keep up. You know, you can see Contador in front of him as some of the main contenders. He's riding along with Luis Leon Sanchez, Simon Gerrans, Roman Bardet, among others. And Valverde, as you can see in the top left at the front of the race right now, he looks like he's going to go on and win it. And he would, about 15 seconds or so ahead of Dan Martin, Michael Kwiatkowski, and Rui Costa. And you can see Pozzato sprinting for the line here, who'd come across in 13th position. So we get our goal of, or our objective, I should say, of a top 20 on the day. So a good showing for Pozzato. Christophe Riblon, on the other hand, actually finished 72nd on the day, and he lost a pretty considerable amount of time. But, you know, like I said, the time gaps are going to be so big when we get into the high mountains, and that's where I really think Riblon is going to make his stake at trying to get in the top 20. So I'm not too worried about it quite yet. Pozzato pockets us 48,000 more euros, and now we're on to stage number 9, the team time trial here, which is going to be an interesting one, because remember, Pozzato enters the day in 2nd place overall, about 141 or so back of Fabian Cancellara. I think he actually gained time on Cancellara on that Mur de Bretagne stage. So I think it's only about 120 now. So if we finish 120 ahead of Fabian Cancellara's team, we would have a chance to try and take over the yellow jersey. So a really good opportunity here for Team HFT to, you know, sort of stake their claim in this year's Tour de France. You know, it's their first tour, and it's an opportunity to at least get your name in the headlines, get the sponsors in the headlines, and make everyone happy. So here we go now. It's a 32 or so kilometer time trial, 2 checkpoints. So we'll keep an eye on where Team HFT stands at each of those checkpoints. But anyway, we're coming up to the first one here shortly enough, about 3 minutes away or so, as it's Johnny Meersman driving the group here right around the bend. And now it is Van Barl leading us up to the checkpoint. Actually, we just crossed it, and we came in at 9:58, 4 seconds behind the leaders, Team Sky, 5th place overall. So pretty good showing there. Good pace being set so far by the guys. Now it's Pozzato doing some of the pacing here at the front of the group. For those who are unfamiliar with how a team time trial works, as I know many people who watch this series but don't actually watch professional cycling, team time trial, you know, it's just when a team goes out and rides a time trial as a group, and you know, most teams, or the general strategy is you relay, and you know, you go, in this game it recommends you go about 1 kilometer at a time with each guy at the front. And I think in the Tour de France it's the time of the 5th guy who crosses the line that everyone gets. In this game it's a little bit messed up. I think everyone actually gets their own time. But anyway, that's basically the premise of how it works, the basics of it. And you can see we came across in the second objective, also in 5th place, 9 seconds back now. So holding our own, but I really overexpended myself in the first 2/3 of the race. And now we are paying for it here at the end. Guys are starting to blow up. And like I said, it's the time of the 5th guy in the real Tour de France, but I'm pretty sure this game has a loophole around that. I think everyone just gets their each individual time, as you're going to see. But anyway, we're coming up 33:40 was our objective entering the stage. We're coming up 300 meters to go. Pozzato leading the way. It looks like he is going to get under the objective here. We'll see 33:20, I would say there. But look at the gaps there, I mean, and you're going to see it. I think looks like the first 5 guys got the same time, and then everyone else had in. So I don't know how it works, to be honest, but at the end of the day, Pozzato ends up actually losing a spot in the overall. Nibali takes over. So that pretty much ended our chances of getting the yellow jersey at any point in this race. But anyway, we came pretty close, and you know, overall, having Pozzato in the top 2 for a while there, and then the top 3 for a couple of stages, I thought that was pretty cool. So anyway, now we're into the big first mountain stage of the race, La Pierre Saint Martin, the first climb of the Pyrenees here for the Tour de France, and we are steadily approaching it as we're in the final 15 kilometers of this stage. So my strategy for this climb was, I decided, since you know, we really don't have a chance at competing for the overall, you know, lead or anything like this in this year's race with the guys like Christophe Riblon and Cyril Gauthier, I just decided I would do kind of what I used to do when I had those underman teams early on in this series, you know, especially in the first couple times we tried to ride the Criterium International, and just sort of pick a pace and stick with it and not really worry about what everyone else is doing, just sort of ride to Christophe Riblon's abilities. I had Gauthier protecting him for a while, and then I sort of just decided to ride out on my own. You can see Cancellara getting dropped off here, but Riblon, I'm trying to keep him, you know, close to the front, but I'm not overexpending myself. I'm going to make sure I keep Riblon's energy up, make sure he can, you know, last the entire climb. The worst thing you can do with a rider like him is blow up early, and then, you know, your day's going to be pretty much done from that point on. So we're just riding our own steady pace here. You know, I'm not worried about what Chris Froome and all those guys at the front are doing. I'm just, you know, riding to what I think Riblon can do, and you know, I'm pushing him pretty hard at this point. You know, I'm getting him out of the saddle, I'm attacking. I'm really doing that because I still have my energy bar, and although we still have a long, you know, 10 kilometers to go, I feel pretty good about where Riblon is energy-wise at this point in the stage. Now we're about 9.5 kilometers to go, coming up on some more riders here. Danny Navarro, Ruby Costa among the men we're about to pass. Roman Krosiger is on our wheel here. I can never pronounce his name out. There's so many names I really just pronounce like an American fool, but anyway, we come up on this group, and although they start to ride away here in a moment, I'm going to end up sort of using them as my guide mark. I thought, you know, Mikel Nieve, he's a guy we competed with in the Dauphiné the last couple of years. Warren Barguil, another name we've seen in the Dauphiné. So I decided this is probably the caliber of rider I should ride with, and we are about 20th on the road right now. So I thought, as we're looking at some of the names here, we're passing Alejandro Valverde and TJ Van Garderen, and then you're going to see here in a sec Nairo Quintana as well getting dropped. So some big name contenders there actually getting dropped, and we moved up to about 15th or so on the road here. So I thought, well, if our goal is in the top 20, I really don't have to worry about riding any higher than 15th on the day or so. And if I just, you know, aim for riding 15th on every stage, I'll probably end up in the top 20 at the end of it all. So I decided this was a pretty good spot. I just sort of, you know, settled it down at this point. Now I've got a little bit of excess energy. I decided I want to catch up to these two guys riding ahead of us. I think one of them is Warren Barguil, and the other might be Wilco Kelderman. I'm not too sure. But yeah, there's Barguil. I'm not sure who the Lotto, what is it? Lotto Jumbo Lotto rider is. All the sponsors, I lose track of the names. But anyway, Froome crosses crosses the finish line. He would win the day. Here is Barguil coming up alongside of us. So I sort of push the tempo, and then let the other guys ride away. It is Kelderman, as well as Pozzovivo here riding along with us. But we're coming across. We're 12th right now, sort of battling Pozzovivo for that position, but 400 meters to go, and overall I thought Riblon rode a pretty good day. He's going to finish in 13th. No one really close behind him. I think the next guy down the road is maybe 30 seconds back or so. But yeah, 13th overall on the day. I thought that was pretty good, and it bumped Riblon up into the top 20 in the GC, so... And we also beat Quintana, Valverde, and Vanguard all in the first mountain stage. So overall, I thought it was a pretty big success, and Riblon is now number 11 overall. So I'm pretty excited about that. But alright, that is going to do it. Hope you guys did enjoy this episode. We are about halfway through this Tour de France. We've got another 11 stages to go, though, and it is going to be a very tough 11 stages as we enter the high mountains of this year's Tour de France. So that's going to do it. Hope you guys did enjoy. Thanks for watching. I'm out. Peace.